Hello to all my fellow Third Eye Sister Souls podcast group. This is not a podcast show. This is simply just a message that um, I feel I'm being told to do. So I'm going to go ahead and just run with it. You'll have to excuse I'm outside, and of course, right when I start recording, the garbage man is coming around, and it's a little noisy, so I do apologize for all the noises outside, but it's certainly more comfortable in here and a little easier, and then people in my household don't have to tiptoe around. Okay. So, with that being said, I do want to quickly say, as you may or may not be aware of, I did post in the group that Aurora is not able to do today's podcast show. So for now, we're postponing it. I don't know if she's going to be feeling, with what she's got going on right now, able to go ahead and, with her schedule and stuff, be able to do the podcast show tomorrow or whatever. So we're just kind of leaving it up in the air. It might not be till next week when we do it. So anyhow, but you do have the message posted there on the page. But just in case you haven't, letting you know now through our video. Anyhow, in case you're wondering why I decided to record this, I think it's very important that we have out there an understanding of, why are you guys so adamant about doing this this show? Okay, and the reason is I think that we are in a time right now where people are becoming a lot more aware that things are not so black and white as we have been told for so long. Okay, many people are starting to come out of this dark fog that's been kind of the norm, and this little bubble that, oh, this is exactly how life is, and starting to see things are much different. And I think it's really important that there is a safe space for people to be able to go, especially if any of those things, might feel a little frightening, and that, especially when we're talking about extraterrestrials and the paranormal and that sort of thing. This is very, very normal that to feel that way, because also we have been those who would be have been kind of fear mongering and kind of making people feel making them feel disempowered, in themselves and who they are and stuff. And there's just kind of this whole fear narrative and that, and it's sad. It's sad because I really can tell you from the experiences now I have had, let me tell you, I have had multiple experiences, and there was a lot that weren't so pleasant. However, I see things in a whole different light now. Okay. I believe that it's, for me personally, this isn't for like everybody else, okay, but for me personally, why I went through so much traumatic stuff in that was to be able to come out here and let you know that it's not all bad, okay, and you're not all alone. Okay, there are going to be things that are going to feel frightening that you might have had in the past, and but there is light, and not all of these beings are dark, are negative, even the ones that we've kind of been forced to believe, because sadly um, there's a lot of stereotyping and a lot of generalizing. So, for instance, okay, my gosh, I'm wearing this snake jewelry, and people be like, oh my gosh, that's dark, that's evil because she's wearing snake jewelry. No, no, no. For one thing, are all snakes bad? Absolutely not. When you think about the rat snake, okay? Now, rats are a creature too. You know, every animal, every being that has its purpose in that, right? But rats, unfortunately, carry disease and stuff. So if we didn't have like the the black snakes or whatever, the ones that the rat snakes, we'd be, you know, overrun. It's like all nature works together and everything, you know, and they don't. The black snakes don't, the rat snakes or whatever, they're black, you know, they don't tend to go after humans and that. So, you know, they're basically, you know, helping people because without them and that, we'd be overrun by the rat population, and we never want to be overrun by anything, you know. This I actually wear because of my connection with Sobek, and Sobek's wife was a snake-headed goddess. Okay, now does that mean, which I think they're ETs, the humans, that's the information I got, that the humans called them gods and goddesses, but they were nothing more than ETs, you know, just very gifted ETs. And actually, they were, it's like the humans version of how like you have the geniuses and that, people that like a 5-year-old and playing Mozart and everything, right? And they're just like a genius. This is how they were. They stood out among their own races. This is just what I get intuitively. Now, does that mean I'm correct? Well, you know, I'm just saying that this is what, you know, you can take it or leave it. I feel it's correct, but it doesn't, to each his own, right? You know. But I wanted you to know that this group that we're doing is like, we're trying to create a safe space for everybody, okay? And we monitor that group to make sure that if anything becomes where it feels like they're being, you know, attacked or ridiculed or something like that, believe you me, we are going to be staying on top of it. Now, does that mean that incidents might come up that we don't catch or something? That can happen, but as long as, you know, if you really feel that way and you alert us, like through a message, you can, I mean, contact me, contact Aurora, or contact my other half there, Shams, who is also a moderator for the group in times of, say, when I'm not around or Aurora's not around or something. So we are trying to make this a safe space for everybody. But at the end of the day, it's just really important. And I really believe that we are coming to a change in our timeline in which things are going to start to accelerate. And this is why you're going to see more things are going to be coming up. Okay, more things, and that right away there's going to be some kind of spin on it that's going to be like, oh, this is from this and nothing to see here. You know what I mean? Because they don't want you to see what's behind the curtain. We know this, okay? So then you're going to have these crappy replicas of stuff, okay? I get the sense that I don't know when. Excuse me, I got a hair or something up. And we'll see. Or maybe if it doesn't, it's okay. I'm human, so I'm allowed to be wrong at times. But I do see a triangular object of some sort that's going to give off electrical impulses. There will be a language on there and symbols, but I don't know. That's just something I get. I don't know when. I don't know where. Okay. But I foresee something like that. Now, if I'm wrong, oh well, just take it and toss it out the window, right? Because we're all human. And I have yet to hear of any intuitive or sensitive who has just had across the board everything correct. And I want to put that out there because there's always these skeptics that think, well, if you're so psychic or intuitive, like psychic's a dirty word, like, oh my gosh, we don't talk about that, right? Then you would have won the lottery or something like that. That's not how it works, guys. It doesn't work like that, You are only going to be given the information that is needed to come out. If it is to help, and it is service to others and to help, that's what it's going to be at the end of the day. Hey, I want $1 million too, but that doesn't mean that the universe or the great divine or whatever is just going to come along and say, okay, well, you want it, I'll tell you where it is or how you get it. It doesn't work that way. So whoever says that kind of stuff, just let it go in one ear and out the other, because that's a load of cockabooty. That's a load of crapola right there in a box. We are only going to be giving information that is going to serve for the greater good. Okay. Now, sometimes we might think we are giving information that, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we're just totally wrong, especially if we've got our heart and soul in it. It could have perhaps been something that was on another timeline, because I do believe that there is multiple realities, multiple versions of ourselves and that, and I don't understand it all, but I do believe that it's all connected. So sometimes, I personally am one of those that I feel real discouraged and like, oh, I feel really stupid. I was so wrong about this or whatever. But, we have to kind of give ourselves some credit, and that we are dealing with human filters and that, and so none of us are meant to have all the knowledge or anything. I don't care how good someone says they are. You're not going to be right about everything, but that doesn't mean, especially if you are really doing something genuine from your heart, that it doesn't mean that it's not going to be connected somehow. So I wanted to put that out there. And also, I felt encouraged or whatever to put this message out, because I get this a lot when I'm meditating and feeling like signals or communication from other beings. A lot what goes on is that people think if something looks scary and outer appearance or whatever, because it's not something we're used to seeing, that they mean harm. And that's not always the case. I tend to find that a lot of times what happens is if we see something and it's looks more like we do, then automatically they're going to be good. And that's not always the case, okay? It's funny to me because with humans, with each other, we can decipher whether someone's good or someone's bad, okay? And and we know deep down that this race that say they may look different from us, maybe they're, or Latino, or they're, Asian or whatever, and that you're going to have people that are good, you're going to have people that are bad, no matter what race they are or whatever. They might look different, but they're all human, right? But I think that when it comes to things like ETs and stuff, if they look so different from us, because of that fear mongering, that fear narrative that's been put in there, and that right off the bat, we run them off, because all this stuff is all the time being inserted into uh, the media and that, making movies about the ETs are coming to attack us and all that and that. But when oftentimes it's us that are the violent ones, right? You know, there are, I think, some very good and loving beings, and, you know, hey, they aren't going to always look like, uh, they're not going to always look like us, or they're going to look like something that could even, you know, you see something with, uh, I don't know, antennas or horns or whatever, and you're going to automatically assume, well, this being is dark and that. But you know what you got to do? It's the same thing with humans. You feel the energy. Okay, don't go on appearance alone, because this is something that, as I've discussed before in the podcast with Aurora, and that when we were talking, uh, even this is just an example. Okay, uh, Lucifer was supposed to be, it was said to be the most beautiful angel, and yet so it goes along them lines. And the thing is that I believe that there is good and bad, just like you have with humans. Why would it be any different with beings? So people right off the bat, they want to jump to conclusions and think every reptilian is bad. I don't think so. I don't think so. And a prime example too is my experiences, my own experiences, and that I've had multiple sleep paralysis. I have seen multiple things, and I have seen things in my wake time and that. And I believe that these things happen for a reason, because I guess I'm supposed to, from what my understanding is, I'm supposed to share and get this knowledge out there for people to understand and that. And just try, and it's not going to be easy, but try to forget that fear-based narrative that has been spread, all that fear-mongering, because I think that once you do that, and that you're really, not only are you disempowering yourself, but you're, right away, you're putting that block up, and there's so much that we can learn from, if they're if you feel their energy and they feel good, and that they don't feel harmful despite how they might look. If they feel real, like you really get a strong intuitive gut feeling that they are good, and that, then and they're trying to make contact with you, try to maybe be a little more receptive, and try to see what they come across. You will know right off the bat. You will instinctively, we all have this inside us where you can really tell whether or not something feels right or doesn't. Okay, a prime example. Before I get into my experience, my beautiful, wonderful, amazing friend Aurora has had a lot of experiences with the praying mantis beings. Now, like she said, the way she draws them gives them more kind of humanistic qualities to them, and that, when in reality they can look pretty frightening. Very tall, and I don't know if they're all because I don't know a lot on the praying mantis. My experiences more have been to do with the grays, and I don't feel like all the grays either, by the way, are non-feeling, and that I know a lot of them are, but not all of them. Not all of them. Just like reptilians, a lot of them are. You might have a lot that are dark, but not all of them. It's just the same with anything. You have good and you have bad. You have light, you have dark. Okay? There is not going to be one race that is strictly every single one of those ET races is just going to be nothing but evil, because that would kind of, the universe is all about balance. So you have light and dark, this is the way everything is. So that's why I say, but getting back to things, Aurora was explaining that, you know, the praying mantis and that can look pretty frightening, but yet many of them are quite benevolent, you know, and just wanting to interact. But because they look like, you know, something so otherworldly and have the little antennas or whatever, and that right off the bat, you know, many of us or many people will write them off and be like, oh my gosh, you know, they're bad, they're evil, they're here to attack me, when they're not. And let me tell you, because I have had both kinds of experiences. I have had the good ones, and I have actually dealt with the demonic beings, not just in sleep paralysis, not just in my sleep, okay, but seeing physical manifestations of things that I couldn't explain, okay, and that, but, you know, I moved on, and I knew, because I knew that there is a great divine, there is love and light and beautiness, and when, not beautiness, excuse my word salad there, beautiful energy from the all, the great God, goddess, divine of all, that is all about love and empathy. And sometimes in our soul contracts we actually can ask to have these, I know that sounds wild, right, but actually ask to have these experiences, because everything to do with in our human incarnation is to do about our learning to help evolve our souls, to make our souls expand, okay? And that's what I just feel, for some reason I was like, I'm getting this, that I have to make this message, so I'm putting this message out there. But now when I'm getting to about the orange ebens, okay, this is a prime example. I've posted a couple videos on our page to do about the orange ebens. Now, one of them, it paints this really kind of dark version. Oh, they're militarized and not. Yeah, there probably are ones that are like that, but not all, okay? My experience was, I got awakened at 2:59 in the morning, okay, by my phone going off, by Home Depot. It said Home Depot, but it wasn't Home Depot, not even close. I answered the phone, and I'm saying, okay, I knew there was something weird going on, and intuitively I knew that whatever it was not anything to do with, you know, our everyday life, our everyday world, our 3D world that we live in, right? And so I'm going, hello, and there's no response, and I'm just hearing this swirling sounding machine with all this static, and I keep saying hello and nothing. So I was like, okay, whatever, and I hung up the phone. And even I was like, oh, doubting myself and thinking, oh, it's probably just a robocall and that. But at the time I had some excitement. I was like, could this be? I wasn't afraid. I was not afraid. Maybe because I've had multiple experiences, that it was just like, oh, okay, this is another Monique thing, another crazy thing in my life, because my life has always been crazy with different and unusual experiences, whether they be paranormal or extraterrestrial. It's a Monique thing, right? So that's what I was like, okay. But I was like, oh, you know, instead of being afraid, I was like more inquisitive. I was like, wow, could this really be? Because I've only had doggone most of the time sleep paralysis episodes, and I hate sleep paralysis, even though I do know that not always is sleep paralysis meant to be something to scare us. Sometimes it's for our protection. It's not the most comfortable thing, but you know, there you go. I've been having it since I was a baby, and it's funny because I don't tend to have like what everybody else says, like the Hat Man and all that. I always usually see ETs. That's usually what I see. But it's interesting because Aurora brought up to me when we had our little conversation this morning, was that she says, I think that you see things in their actual form. Unlike most people, she said, you're able to see them in their natural form. So maybe because they thought you could handle it. So I was like, well, that's interesting. Who knows, right? But anyhow, what happened was I was not afraid whatsoever with these guys. But then had been, after being awakened and that, I thought, well, I didn't really have to go to the bathroom, but I was like, I'll go ahead and use it, because knowing my luck, I'll go to the bathroom, or I'll go to bed and get ready to go to sleep, and then I'll have to go to the bathroom, and then I'll be ticked because I had to do that. Ticked at myself that so I was like, let me just go ahead and use the bathroom, so that way then it doesn't get to 30 minutes later when I'm almost falling asleep and I have to use the darn bathroom, right? So I went ahead, used the bathroom. I come out of the bathroom and my orange cat was staring at me from the hallway with, just staring. And I'm like, okay, why is he staring at me like this? And I was like, so the unsure me was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I should, have the cat sleep with me. I wasn't really scared, but I was just like, okay. I knew something was about to take place, so just natural human instinct. So I was trying to get the cat, and the cat wouldn't come. And then I was like, okay, whatever. So I go into my room, and again, I'm not feeling any fear whatsoever, so I want to make that known. The only time I got fearful was when I laid down, and the second I laid down, I had not gone to sleep. You don't fall asleep in 1 second. That don't happen. Okay, I closed my eyes for just that second, and all of a sudden, I had this overwhelming smell of ammonia. It was like someone had opened a bottle of ammonia and put it under my nose. Well, that did freak me out. Why? Because I can't even get near ammonia when I'm opening it. So when it was coming in my nose and all that, it terrified me, as far as I need to get air, I need to get air, I need to get air. But when I started just really sending my prayer out there and just like, please, I'm not ready to die anything, it dissipated. It completely dissipated. Now, I truly think if these beings wanted to harm me, they could have let me pass out, but I don't think of it was that way at all. I think that what happened was they realized, oh my gosh, we didn't mean to do this. So they left, because their bodies naturally give off an ammonia scent, and they were very much, probably very close to where I was. I couldn't physically see them, but it was completely dark in my room. So, and plus all I could focus on was trying to get, regular air. So I really don't think they meant to do that. And why people would wonder why the orange even snap, for one thing, that was, I was getting a mental impression, but it wasn't just that. Later, my sister in the morning said to me, what was that strange buzzing sound that was coming from your room? I got up to go to the bathroom, and I hear this strange buzzing sound from your room. My sister's a night owl, right? And so I decided to do some investigating, and I felt really validated as far as my impression of it being the orange evens, because then I'm looking up and it says they give off a strong ammonia when they're near you. They give off a strong ammonia smell. They also give off a buzzing sound. So anyhow, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this video to go on so long, but that's just one of my stories, and so you'll see I've posted a few videos on that. But anyhow, getting back to everything, I just want people to know that if they want to share and that we welcome you, as long as you are coming from a place of love and you are not out to I don't want to see anybody pounce on someone else's experience, because let me tell you, everybody has their own experiences, and maybe your experience with a particular being is different from somebody else's, Now, does that mean that that other person's experience is wrong? That they're so off the mark? Absolutely not. We don't know. We honestly do not know. Just because beings have been known to have one type of way of handling things in most cases, or any of the cases that we've heard of, that doesn't mean that someone else's that has something completely different means that theirs is wrong, or they must be imagining it. And that, so I want everybody to know that that's what's important. When we do this, we want people to come forward, or you can be anonymous if you don't feel like you're ready to, but share your experience, even if, say, it doesn't line up with, well, okay, this is the classic way it's supposed to be. Because you know what I say on that? Bull. I think if you have an experience and it doesn't line up with what is the norm, that doesn't mean you weren't supposed to experience it in that way, or that you were imagining it. Okay, there's a reason behind it. So this message is kind of dragging on here, and I know that, so we're going to reel myself back in. And anyways, I just wanted you to know that we love you and we appreciate you, and we want you to feel you have a home, a safe space to talk and feel more empowered, and feel good, because we are meant to bring each other together, not divide. Okay, it's all about coming together, not just with each other, but connecting with our star family, with our friends of the universe. Okay, this is what they want, because it's all about our souls expanding and becoming one with nature and life and the universe, and being together, and sending out that positive message, and spreading the love and the joy, and that there's so much that we can learn from each other. Okay, so I am going to say goodbye. It's a little bit of a long message, but thank you all for taking the time to listen to me. Have a beautiful, blessed, amazing day. Bye.